In this video, I'm going to show you how to import parts onto a project. You want to start by opening your project that is already created and clicking on the Items tab. Here we can use the Import Parts button to import a pre-existing template of the parts that we wish to put on this project. I'm going to start by showing you how to create this template. This template can be found on the SharePoint under Accounting and will be available at any time. I'm going to start by changing the project number to reflect the project number that we are importing into. This is very important. If you do not change this number, you will be importing these parts onto the wrong project. So very important that we change this template to reflect the project we're actually importing into. Shortcut is you can just fill it in the first two, highlight those items. In the bottom right corner, make the black plus sign and drag it all the way down to the bottom. Okay. Next, task number. This is just going to load these parts under a task. For the initial upload, you can always upload them to task level 0, and then from there you can, once uploaded, you can change the task number by item. I'll show you that as we get closer to the import. For now, I'm just going to use task level 0 because say I'm the person putting in this project and I don't know what task they need to go on, task level 0 is always a safe place to put them. Next, there's the incident number. Say you wanted to import this into an existing incident, you would put the incident number here and leave the project number blank. In this case, we're going to be uploading these to a project, so I'm going to fill out just the project side and not the incident side. Next, I'm going to fill in all my part numbers. Those come directly from the BOM. This is provided by the salesperson. I've cleaned up my bottom portion to eliminate any rows that aren't going to be used so that I can just see the parts I want to import. So I'm going to select all those part numbers. I need to point out right here that these part numbers do not have their prefixes. The prefix for these parts is going to be a Cisco part, so the prefix is CIS, C-I-S dash, and then this part. I'm going to show you a quick little shortcut to add that in without having to do each one individually. So I'm going to start by copying these, going back to my template, highlighting the section, paste. I want to make sure that I'm pasting the values so that it matches my template. Okay. To get the prefix in front of each one of these without having to go through each one and add CIS dash, I'm going to add a row. And I'm going to use the following formula. Consecate. Just going to click it, double click it. The first thing I want to put in is parentheses, then my prefix, all caps, that's how it's recognized in GP, all caps, dash, and then close my quotation marks. The prefix is always going to be in quotation marks. Then I'm going to hit comma and select the field that I want to add that prefix to. And then I'm going to close my parentheses. When I hit enter, it now has the beginning prefix. And all I have to do to get it all the way down is to highlight my cell, go into the corner and make my black plus sign, and drag it all the way down. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is if I click on any one of these, I'm going to see a formula. I do not want to import formulas. So again, I'm going to copy my correct formulas now with my prefix. I'm going to select copy, and I'm going to paste under the item number section, but I'm going to paste values, which is the clipboard 1, 2, 3. And now you can see when I click on these, there's no formula, it's just the part number. And I no longer need this extra column, so I can delete this. Okay, so now we have all of our parts correctly entered with the proper prefix. Next, I want to dump in my descriptions. So I'm going to go back to my BOM, select my descriptions, copy them, and paste them into paste values into a template. All of these are considered a part, so you can just make sure that each one of these is listed as a part. If there was labor involved, this part would be professional services, the description, and labor. But in this case, these are just parts, so I'm going to continue with just parts. Next, I want to fill in my quantities. And come over here and copy. Everything is in order, so it should be 1-to-1. And paste in my cells. You always want to make sure that you're all the way to the top so you're not missing a space. Again, paste values. Now here, the first one we want to fill in is the unit price. This is what we're selling it for. So I need to pull up my unit cell for this column. So I'm going to come back to my BOM, scroll over. Over here is my unit cell, or better yet, my price. This is what we're selling it as. I'm going to copy these. Come back to my template and paste values. Paste values. Okay. The next column is unit cost. So I'm going to go back to my BOM, find my unit cost, copy, and paste into the unit cost column. Make sure you are choosing the unit and not the extended, otherwise you will. And I must have done something wrong, so let's go back. I want to copy. And paste. See how I've copied them in the wrong area here. I want to clear these. And again, it's not pasting. Let's try this again. Copy. My unit cost. Paste values. And for some reason, if you can't get them to match the format, you can just highlight a couple of the cells you're trying to format them as. Up here in the top left, there's a format painter. I just click that, and now I can format the whole line. That's how you fix any issues you may have when copying items over into the template. Stock location is always going to be warehouse. Item class, these parts are all classified as Cisco parts, so Cisco is filled in here. Next is very important, the vendor ID. The vendor ID is where we're going to be purchasing these parts from. In this particular example, every single item is going to be purchased from Cisco. If you were going to be purchasing this first item from Tech Data, you would fill in that field with their vendor ID. In this case, it's all Cisco, so I'm going to leave it as Cisco. And finally, the unit of measure, all should be each. Very rarely we do use a fee item, but just be sure that you are making sure that that item is a fee and not each whenever you're filling in these items. In this case, in this example, all of these items have a unit of measure as each. Once I have everything filled out and I'm happy with this template, I'm going to save it to the folder. I have this saved in a particular folder for the Houston Zoo. I can now close it and close my BOM. And now I want to come into SharePoint under the Items tab and click the Import Parts. Here, the window will pop up. I'm going to click Browse, and I'm going to browse for my how-to video for the Parts Import template. I'm going to click the Upload button. I got the file was loaded successfully. Just click OK. You can preview your data and see that it all is going to upload correctly. And if I'm happy with that, I can click Import Data. And it's telling me the process was complete. I had 31 records imported and 0 were rejected. If I had one that was rejected, I could come over here on Correct Errors and see why they were wrong. It would give me a reason and error message next to the item number. Okay. Once that's done, I can just close this and come back to the Items tab and click Refresh. When I click Refresh, all my parts tabulate, and I can see that my total is down here. This is going to be my cell total, my extended price, and my extended cost. And that is how you upload parts, import parts into a project. You could also go and change these items. Say later on I realize that this first item doesn't need to be under task level 0. I can click Edit and change it to whichever task, Equipment Billing Phase 1. Always remember to fill in your resource code. In this case, I'm just going to put myself. Hit Save. And now this part is underneath Task 101. And I can change that for any one of these and make sure that that task is categorized by coming over to Tasks, Task 101, and clicking Edit. And here under Estimated End Date is where I would categorize that item so that it would fall under the backlog for July. Okay, and that is it. That is how you import parts on a project and make any changes to the task number.